Forward to the cloud. Okay. And so somebody else is, there's a whole bunch of chats. There's some chats up there for you girls, there too, by the way, just so I will get to those eventually. So good morning, everyone. As I was saying, thank you so much for attending today. As we always say with the CBC, we have your back. Okay, and we're not only just about business, because people matter above all. And so this is why we're going to look on aspects that are actually the fundamental part that we sometimes oversee because we're so busy being busy. So let's stop being busy. Let's get productive. Let's take care of ourselves. And we have some experts on today that will actually be able to help us and guide us along the way. We'll be talking first with Dr. Brenda. And Dr. Brenda is from, based in Rome, Italy. And she will be able to maybe give us a little bit more foresight on what's happening on the other parts of the world and how clients and people in general are growing. And then we will take it upon Randah, and Randah will tie up the rest. And then I think at the end too, we'll have some questions in between for each of our speakers. And then it would be lovely if later on, if you wanted to, then you can also get some more questions at the very end. I'm going to get off my soapbox, as they say, and I'm going to leave it to the experts. Would you be so kind and maybe introduce yourself so that people will know what we are doing today? Thank you. Hi, Brenda.
Sure. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity, first of all. And so to start with, my name is Brenda, like you know. I am American, and I live in Rome. And as you know, we've been now, I don't even know anymore, 8th or 9th week in quarantine.
Wow.
And I think, yes. So I have personally been out of the house only 3 times. And it's only to buy vegetables and milk. The rest is my husband. So you can just imagine what these 8-9 weeks has done to me personally and to everybody globally. This is all over the world, as we know. And these are times now where the theme for today that I chose was keeping a cool head and a warm heart in challenging times, because these are extremely challenging times for everybody, for every type of relationship also. So we're going to try to understand why at this moment, even though we need to know all the information about coronavirus, I think knowing so much about it has created also a mainstream of fear, because the more we know and the more we hear, the more we become anxious, scared, and worried. So equanimity, which means balance, gotta bring the balance. It's like a catch-22. We want to know what's going on, but how much of it do we really want, and how much of it can we really take? So it's all about responding and reacting to what's going on around us. I hear moms that are going crazy with their children, wife, husband, my neighbors. I hear people of all ages, people who live alone, people who are immigrants who are living here. All of us are trying to survive, and that's the main point. We're all trying to survive. But as much as we educate ourselves, we're also creating fear. So like I said before, it's this double-edged sword. Okay, now, what do we do here with this type of, how do we respond and a level of a psychological well-being? Well, we have to cultivate equanimity. And as we all know, in the ancient and wise times, and I say wise times because it's modern psychology and ancient wisdom has taught us that we need to keep an inner balance, right? And a steadiness. It's okay to have equanimity, but we have to mix it with compassion. Now, equanimity, what it does is it helps us understand that when we recognize and allow difficult thoughts, worries, and feelings, we don't want to over-identify with them or cling on to them, because they will change and they will pass. And we begin to understand that moods and thoughts last longer when we fight them or over-identify with them. So this is all about an attitude of mind. It's an attitude that we can train and cultivate, especially around now. So basically, cultivating is a resource that can help us navigate our way through life. And with all its unpredictabilities and uncertainties, without losing our balance and becoming lost. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to understand now during these times is how people are coping. We're all social beings. We were made to connect. Now, one of us somehow connects. Either it's on the phone, on your WhatsApp, Facebook, email, Netflix, working out, talking to your neighbor, talking to your spouse. Even if it's arguing with your spouse, you're still connecting. Okay? So why all this fear? Why all this worry? What's going on with us? Why are we getting into depressions, anxieties, sadness, panic attacks? All right. It's all, besides being the worry and the fear, our mind dictates our moods. But cultivating equanimity is the resource that can help us navigate through life, like I said before. Okay. Now, I have also noticed words that besides anxious, fear, and worry, I have noticed words from some that come from the heart, like kindness, appreciation, connection, values, as opposed to uncertainty, worry, social distancing. Okay, so let's try to, that's what I'm trying to say. We have our negativity because we are living in times where it is difficult. But we also have to look at the bright side. Now, if we slow down and we stop and we meditate, because as a psychologist, I like to use mindfulness meditation. And for those who don't know what mindfulness is, that's what it is, a meditation. And what we do is, what mindfulness does to a human being is gives you energy, gives you confidence, and it decreases depression, sadness, anxiety, panic attacks. Many people don't know what mindfulness is. They think it's like yoga. It could be. If you like yoga, do yoga. But if you like mindfulness meditation, it could be anywhere. You can take a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your day. Maybe just start the day in a good mood. Maybe during the day you want to break. It could be any time. You want to have coffee, do your meditation while having your coffee. Do you want to meditate while you're walking? Meditate while you're walking. Okay.
Brenda, may we put up the poll, the one questions? We have some questions for our attendees today so that they could, so that it helps guide your also discussions, because when we're doing a webinar, it's a little bit difficult because you don't see everyone's faces right away. So is it okay if we put it up while we talk?
Please, okay. Yes, I would love to.
Thank you, Heva. Can you put it up for me, please, Heva? Thanks. There you go. Any of you that would like to have your mics on, because it seems that we are quite a nice tight-knit group, please tell me, put it in the chat. We'll put your mic on, we'll put your video on. We want everyone to participate. Yes, okay, well, thank you very much. Go ahead, Brenda. Sorry, you can talk while she's putting it up. Thanks.
Okay. So the goal for me today is to have everybody who's with me, by the way, thank you, to reduce the way we react right now in these challenging times by supporting each other, but first supporting ourselves first. Now, to surrender, do things wholeheartedly with a good response, and try to grab a steadier ground on which we can stand and meet the challenges in our lives, okay? Now, I see the first question. Why is it so hard for me to meditate? I love it. That's a question I get a lot of. Now, when people think of meditation, they're like, oh, I don't have time. When do I do it? My life is so busy. Well, that's when you should do it. That's exactly when you should do it. Because your life is so busy. Meditation, what it does is it reduces your whole entire life into a peaceful way of living. People can't meditate because they're afraid, they don't know how to, they're frustrated, they think it's work, and the last thing another human being wants is more work. But the truth is, meditation is the total opposite. At the end of this, maybe another 2-3 minutes, we're going to get into a nice 5-minute meditation to guide you through the day. And then we'll see at the end when you tell me how you feel after the meditation. Okay, I hope I answered people's question about why it's so difficult sometimes for a few.
Yes, in fact, if you could be so kind, people that are in the are participating, if you could be so kind, even our speakers, if you want to answer the poll, that would be fantastic. Please answer the poll, because it usually gives us a ratio of why one thinks it's so difficult. They were very, very basic questions, but that it's quite, it's quite important. It's quite important that we can see that what we're feeling, and it helps our speakers, guide their discussion for us. Right? Please, anyone that wants to have their mic on or their video on, please tell me. I can actually turn it on without any problems. But of course, we do not want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. So anyone, just put it in the chat, put a hand up. There's all those little devices there that will tell me what you'd like to do, and we will be more than happy to put you live. Okay. Sorry, Brenda, I interrupted. When we get to a certain point, Heba will put the poll results onto the screen for you. Go ahead. It's all yours.
Okay. Now, a few tips that personally and from others that I've heard to survive this social distancing and this lockdown. You have to create your own routine. And even though we're not used to doing it, I think what happened with me in the beginning was it was hard for me to understand what was going on. It was hard for me to grasp and accept it. Once I accepted it, I started having my own little world in my little living room. I mean, I call it my little 2x2 office, because I've had to do everything here. I've had to study, I do my workout, I talk with people, I have my virtual aperitivo, drinking with friends via Zoom or Skype. I have Netflix, thank God for that. That coronavirus did not take away technology, or else I don't know what would have happened. But I have my computer, I have clients, I have my husband. If not him, I still have my kitty cats. I have learned to cook online. I have learned to take classes online. I give classes online once a week when it deals with themes on well-being, meditation themes, psychology themes, whatever people want. They write to me, we talk about it, and it's like, this is my interaction. People now, they sew, they knit, things they could never do before. I have read at least 10 books while I've been here. Books that I've always said, oh, I'll get when I get to it, when I have a chance. Oh yeah, and they keep piling up and getting dusty. So there are benefits to a pandemic. People don't realize it, but look at our universe now. Look at the earth. Pollution, the sky. I read something the other day about earthing. I didn't even know what that was until I read it. There was another name for me. Earthing is when you go outside your garden or your terrace, whatever you have, and you walk barefoot, because you are energy. And the earth is energy, and connected together, scientifically speaking and research, we have learned that this helps people's moods. When you get out and you connect with energy, that's another form of meditation. If you have a backyard or a porch or whatever it is to walk barefoot. Go outside and take that nice fresh air. You are relating, listening to the earth. That's another way of meditation. There's so many ways of meditating, and they're all free now. If you go online, there are a lot of free yoga, free mindfulness. We're very lucky to be stuck where we were instead of being like our grandparents or our ancestors who had to go to the actual war and didn't have the luxury, and I say luxury, that we have now. So we have to be also thankful and have gratitude and compassion that even though this will pass, how we're reacting and responding to it is the most important thing. Okay. The poll.
That is very true. The poll came up. Did you see it? Did you see it come up? Yeah, I totally agree with you, Brenda. While you're reading that, I totally agree with you. I mean, from day one, you know, the expression, if life gives you lemons, make some lemonade. And for those of us that happen to like gin or vodka in the lemonade, just that's a whole other story. But I believe that it's not, it is a little bit more difficult because I know I have heard so many people say that we are in the same boat. I have a little bit of difficulty with that personally, because some people, we're sure in a storm together, but some people have no shelter from the storm. Some people are really, it is a really, really rough ride. So I'm thinking that, you know, maybe they can't make ends meet at the end of the month. You know, they're worried about their futures and things like that. So, but we are very lucky because with tools even such as this, like Zoom, thank goodness, it allows us from this side of the world to be able to connect to people and maybe just take an hour of their time and make them feel make sure that they're not alone. So anyway, so there's some of your poll results. You might want to talk about those and see how that, if that relates to what your findings have been so far.
Yes, sure. It says, why is it so hard for me to meditate? The first one, and it's usually the one I get the most, it's hard to concentrate. Okay, number 2, when is it a good time to meditate? I like someone's answer. People wrote, whenever. Very good. Someone wrote at night. Okay, whatever works for you. There's another person that said, I do not know because I never have time. Okay, getting easily frustrated is one of the reasons that you cannot meditate, because it's frustrating and you can't concentrate. So we're going to do now, and like Diana said, all of this, there are people who have it worse than others, it's true. But pretty soon this will be over and the world will change. After this coronavirus epidemic, people will change. And hopefully there will be more compassion in the world and we will unite better and find time for our loved ones. Mothers who are home with their children, who have never been home with their children this much. A question I get a lot from parents: how do I teach my child to meditate? How do I get him to calm down? Okay. Parents, start with you first, and then I'll teach you later on or another time if Diana approves, or you can contact me when we can have a chat about parents and their children.
Oh, that would be lovely. We have quite the large expat group and non-expat group here with children, because the schools closed right away, tout de suite, you know, so it would be quite interesting.
Oh. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, it is rough. There are others who said, I can't wait to have my kid with me the whole time. It's been a thrill. Okay, well, that's a lot of variations. How old is your child? What gender? What nationality? It's all of these things coming into part, but it's all about coming back to the goal here is balancing, meditating. So this coronavirus has put us all on reset. And speaking about reset, what I want everyone to do now, if you can please join me, find a nice comfortable position. We're going to have a nice meditation. And we're going to find a position where you feel comfortable in. It could be against the wall, on the floor, on a chair, laying down, eyes opened or closed. If your eyes are open, please concentrate on one object. Okay, taking in a nice 3 deep breaths. We're going to try to keep centered right now in the present moment. Let's just focus right now on the breath. So this meditation is good for a stressful day, after a stressful day also. Make sure that your body feels comfortable. Now gently close your eyes and bring gently the awareness to the breath. Watch it closely without manipulating it. Just be aware of it. Sense it. Hear it. Follow it. Attach no judgment to your breath. And now slowly begin to deepen your inhale. Do not strain or challenge yourself. Just add intention. Let's inhale with purpose. And now exhale with a sense of letting go. Letting go, knowing you are exactly where you need to be. A few more deep breaths, always focusing on the breath. And inhaling some love for yourself. And exhale, letting go. Inhale love for this present moment. And exhale, letting go. And now let your breath resume its natural pace. Feel the peaceful sense of calm wash through you. For the next few moments, just stay with your breath as close as you can. Listen to the sound it makes. If your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to the center without criticism or negativity. Bring it back to the now, this life, this moment. Feel your breath and feel where it travels. Notice as your belly fills up and your ribs expand. Feel the space around you. Observe your body. You feel your breath deliver life. And your breath awakening every cell in you. And it feels so peaceful. As if every cell in your body is smiling upon you. For the next moment, stay with the breath. Listen to your breath and stay with it. And stay with this beautiful, peaceful moment. And now begin to deepen your breath again. Bring your awareness back to the space that you're in. Gently wiggle your toes and fingers. And smile for a moment. And smile with your heart. And now slowly, whenever you're ready, blink your eyes open. And have a wonderful day. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. I find that the guided meditation is, well, for me it's fundamental because it does guide you. And then the fact of the matter is that you can try to bring back your thoughts. So that's absolutely amazing. So Randah's saying, thank you, Dr. Brenda. I'm actually going to do something very osé, which is not like me. I am promoting everyone to panelists, by the way. Okay? Why am I promoting you, ladies and gentlemen? Is I think we should take a few more seconds. And since, thank goodness, we're a tight-knit group today, which is great. You can now choose to talk if you wish to talk. You don't have to turn in your screens. Don't worry. I'm not going to make anyone feel like they have to. You probably still, if you were like me, you know, like I've got my pajama bottoms on the top and I've got my necklace on the top, you know, I'm vice versa. So I'm promoting you all. I mean, don't you feel like you just got this amazing promotion today? You're like, you're all, for me, you're all panelists anyway. It's just, that's what the app says, promote them. So you've been all promoted. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to unmute you all. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So we might hear a little bit of noise in the background. You might want to mute yourself if you don't want to talk. Okay. Whoever doesn't want to talk, please mute yourselves. Sorry, that was bad of me. Don't you like that? You had no forewarning at all. So, okay. So, hey, have a good morning. Now we get to see you. Yeah. There you go. You're having the Brooklyn Bridge in the background. That's my girl. I always traveling, even if it's virtually.
Yeah.
So you might want to, is there something that anyone wants to reach out and maybe, you know, go ahead and chat. You know, is there something that you wanted to reach out to Brenda about? Even ask some questions. You might have some questions regarding what's happening in Italy. I don't know. Well, Rebecca, you're in Italy. So what's happening in Italy?
Hi, good morning. I'll turn my video on. It's easier than writing.
Yeah, gosh, that's why we put you on.
Hi, Brenda. How are you? Thank you for that. Meditation is a great way to wake up in the morning. Well, I'm here also since March 6th in my apartment, and I've been out only twice, both times to the dentist, because also my husband is doing the rest. Thank goodness. And I find that most days are really pretty easy for me. Time seems to be flying somehow. I'm staying really busy, and I'm in the most fortunate group of people. I have to say I took some kind of a survey the other day and had to rate myself in that very top highest percentile, because I have really no worries. No one in my family or friends are sick. I mean, I know friends of friends who have been sick, and of course some people in Bergamo who have lost loved ones, or friends of friends who have lost loved ones. But myself, I'm good. My income has not been affected, thank goodness, and I'm trying to help others and to be strong. And I think it's the time that we have to really rise up and do what's necessary to make sure, check in with others, you know, when we're strong, because I hope when I'm not, and sooner or later it'll come around, right? Somebody will be checking in on me. I think it's just a way of paying back and giving back, and making sure that this connectedness that you were talking about, Diana, and that we try to tap into, like Brenda just helped us to do, by being calm and trying to promote that calmness and some sense of purpose. That's what's going on with me. And luckily I work a lot online and at the computer. So like I said, my daily life hasn't changed really too much. So I'm good.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. I mean, we with the other business councils together, we decided to put on webinars. I mean, some of the business councils were doing some of them for payment, but for the most part, we've decided that it's just not the time. The time now is to make sure that people have a tool if they need the tool. And again, we like to put them out onto the YouTube channel. Like us, love us. Remember, basically share us, make us go viral. Okay, you have a new job, and put on your list under number 3. Make Stevie C Dubai go viral. Okay, but you know, but all joking aside, is that if there just might be one other person out there that might just need that little extra boost that day, and that's what we're about. Okay, and you know, I'm going to give my hat off to every one of the people I've talked to, attendees, panelists, whatever these names that the Zoom app is giving you guys. Okay, friends, human beings out there. There has not been one person that has said no. Go, sure, when? Sure, when? And then I'm like, let me get back to you, because I wasn't expecting such an onslaught. And so I get goosebumps, because I just think we're just working it together. Anyway, back to Brenda. Is there something kind of question you want to put out there? Is there something, or should we move on to Randah and get the questions afterwards? What would you like?
Well, one thing before I forget is, I had a question about apps before. They're meditation apps, and I really think the best ones that I use are Headspace, Calm, and B-Zone. Those are the best for meditating. Okay, so anybody wants an application and they want to rate, those are the 3: B-Zone, Headspace, and Calm. I guarantee them. Okay, they dictate. They're very good with for the mood for the day. They have music. They have games. It's also good for kids, believe it or not. You can use them also with children.
I asked you about the Google Chrome. I was checking mine. It looked like it's an updated one, but then I can't do some of the new features.
Diana, you're muted.
Mute my audio. I'm going to mute you all, and you guys unmute yourselves when you want to talk, okay? Is that good? Because there's so much back. Okay, there we go. Mute. Oh, going to mute you babies all. And now I'm going to unmute you, Brenda. There you go, Brenda. You're back. You're good.
It. Okay, that was it. And now I'm done. Thank you so much for having me. And if anybody needs any help, you know where to find me.
Yes, we'll get and then with the follow-up email. So just please hang on, because there'll probably be some more questions popping up at the end. There's always questions. So all right. So thank you. And off, thank you. Then off, we're going to go directly to Randah as we speak. Let me see if I can unmute you, Randah. This would be lovely. Randah, would you like to start with right away with the, let me just get you unmuted. And sorry, because now they've changed the positioning. Oh, you've unmuted yourself. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I love
morning.
Good morning. I'm going to go ahead. Hey, good morning. There's another video popping up. Nice to see all of you. Okay, you're all Zoom ready, as I call it, eh? I like when you're like Zoom ready from up here up. We're Zoom ready from here up. Like, I got pajama shorts. All right.
Good.
So let me
all. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. No, I'm going to just make Heba. I have to make Heba host, so she could put on the chat. But I've got 2 Hebas right now. So Heba's going to tell me if I did the right thing. Okay, go ahead, Randah, please.
So in short, my name is Randah and I'm a culture designer and innovation facilitator. That's all what we need right now. Anything else is not important. For today, I want to share with you some myths about creative thinking and coming up with ideas. And I really want to thank Dr. Brenda for giving us the chance to clear some of the heavy crowd that's in our head and just like have a little bit more white space, because that's what we need in order to make those ideas. So the first things first, we have 3 poll questions, right? So I would like you to answer those 3 poll questions, and I would like you, if you prefer, to even populate the chat, answering some of the things that are coming out while I go through these 3 poll questions. So Heba, you're the master now. The questions are very simple, yes and no. Go with your first gut.
That technology, every time we put more like attendees. So there you go. Oh, I love that. Okay, there we go.
Thank you for writing those things. I was going to watch again in order to record them again. So that's the best use for the chat. Just like repeat what we need to reinforce. Thank you. Ming, it's so nice to see you. So Ming is joining us. It's 3:30 a.m. So yeah, I know that. So thank you for being there. All right, so do we have answers, Heba, or do you want me to start without the answers? I prefer if we do, actually, if we have them. Right, okay, only creative people can produce unique ideas from the first time. Most of you said this is wrong. This is what I'm going to start with, okay? And I'll keep this poll for the next part. So most of you said it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Number one, the problem is that we believe that creative people are, or creativity happens in certain industries and not in others. We assume that marketing is more creative. We assume that people are, some people are born creative, others are not. And then here is the answer. The answer is everyone. Everyone is born a creative person. However, we get to pull this out in school and in universities and then in work. We get to pull it out. We get to drain our creativity. We lose some of it starting from kindergarten. By grade 4, it could be around 40% of our real core creativity goes out the door. It's because of how we are educated and how we are learning how to do things in a certain way. There's always one right answer. There's always one way to do things. This removes away all the questioning that we had when we were 5-year-olds. So that's one thing, right? We're all born creative. Some of us keep that, and the others lose it if they are not intentional about getting it back. Now, here is the difference between a person who says I'm creative and a person who says I'm not, like, or a person who believes is a creative or not. The difference is in the belief. If you believe that you are a creative person, then you are. If you don't believe that, then you're not. As simple as that. And then if you believe what you are, then you will start to produce the ideas that will help you become actually more creative and will help you come up with more ideas. Unique ideas usually require a process. They use tools. Some of the things that you do are very subconscious that help you come up with ideas. There is a way of saying, you know, the best ideas that come are that come in 3 Bs. Do you know what the 3 Bs?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, I'll tell you later. If you remember, I'll tell you at the end.
You be careful, because I can turn off your video, okay?
You can. Go ahead. Okay. You will never know.
I know.
No, you will. I don't hoard any ideas. I don't hoard information, but
That's my girl.
But here is something that is also creative people know really well. They know that the quantity matters way more than the quality at the beginning. So when you are coming up with ideas and you decide that you come up with one idea and you say, it doesn't work, or we cannot afford it, or it doesn't. So this back and forth thing reduces your quantity to 3 or 5 ideas. When you want to be creative, those who are creative will come up with 20 ideas first. And then they will decide which one works and which one doesn't. So quantity comes first if you want to really hone in your creative mind. Using different tools and different idea generation method and being inspired in different situations also help you become more creative. And there is one more thing. So these are things that you can do at you know, with your own intention. But there is one more thing that happens in your brain unconsciously because of the process that you're following. And that is the production of the hormone dopamine. So the dopamine is your hormone that A, helps you become happier. The more dopamine you have, the happier you are. And B, helps you produce more ideas. And you can do something to kick that dopamine in your head by producing lots of ideas in the shortest amount of time. So you get excited, and then your brain kicks in this dopamine, and then you get more ideas. So it's understanding how your brain works and understanding your surrounding, and then becoming more creative at that. Okay, so this is a part for the first question. The answer for the second question, Hiba, can I have it on? Sorry, I did not write or what's the percentage of who answered right and who answered wrong?
Percentage who answered right is 45%, and who answered wrong is 55%.
55. All right. So the second question was, the best way to come up with an idea at work is to do a group brainstorming meeting. And 4 to 5% of you said yes. Well, so almost half said yes, half said no. The answer is no. It is not the best idea all the time. It is the best idea some of the time. So this is only one tool that you can use to help you come up with ideas. It doesn't work everywhere. It doesn't work with all challenges, and it doesn't work with every type of people. Some people are very extrovert and they jump ideas off of each other quite, fast. Others are introvert. They need to let it run through in order to come up with the ideas. So by putting them in a situation where they have to be, to do a brainstorming, what's happening? You're sharing your screen with us. Okay. So anyway, so by putting your place, this is distracting, Diana. Thank you. Because I'm looking at you guys. I'm looking at the faces and the names. And so suddenly I'm looking at words. All right, back to what I was saying. To conduct an idea generation tool, so you want to try different methods, methods to come up with ideas that work with different types of people. Some people are very visual. A picture will help them come up with ideas. A sound or something that they smelled will help them connect with ideas that don't really connect in that regular setting. So by extending this type of tool or idea generation tool, you are giving a chance for everyone to be creative in their own way, right? So that is something important. So you want to know, when you are thinking about it, you want to know the difference between what's the process that you're taking and what's the content. The content is the problem, or it's the challenge, or it's the opportunity. You can say, okay, we are in this situation right now. My work has shifted. I have to do everything from home. What are all the ways that I can come up with in order to maintain my work or my productivity or whatever it is, right? So you are trying to know, like you're pinpointing, okay, what is the challenge? What is the content? But then you are trying to come up with different ways to come up with this idea. It could be just you making a list, or it could be doing a brainstorming session, or it could be doing a brainwriting session, or it could be sketching like a storyboard. There are hundreds of tools that will help you generate ideas. And there are also hundreds of tools that will help you make a decision from those ideas. The amount of time that I've seen in companies mainly go through like hours of meetings, weeks or days of coming up with a decision is just like incredible. If they use the right tool for making a decision, and they can finish in 1 hour. 1 hour, right? All of them agreeing on where to go. So again, playing with the tools, knowing that the difference between a tool and a process and how that works, just being aware of it will help you find a better tool. If brainstorming does not work for you, or it doesn't work in your group, okay? Again, I'm repeating, quantity goes first. So the bad part about brainstorming session is that people go to the session and then start to come up with ideas. Or they say, okay, now this is a challenge. What do you think? What do you think? What's your idea? And then let's put them together. That's bad way, right? If you really want to build on each other's ideas, you come to the session with 10 ideas each. That's your starting point. So your agenda for the day, you say, okay, we are meeting on Thursday, or we are meeting on Sunday, or on whatever. And this is a problem. This is a challenge that we want to come up with ideas. I need you to come to this meeting with 10 of your ideas. That way we get rid of those mediocre ideas first, your first thoughts, right? Because our brains are very lazy. They just want to get rid of your question and then go back to sleeping. That's how we're wired. So we want to play tricks on that. And you say, okay, the first 3 ideas, I'm just going to write them down. I need to think of 2 more, 3 more, and then 10. And then you come to the meeting with 10. And if there are only 3 of us meeting, we're starting with 30 ideas. You set a quota and you say, we are going to come up with 20 ideas together as a group. So by the end of the session, how many ideas do we have? 50. That's what quantity first means, right? You start with 50. Most of them will be rubbish. Your best ones will be the last third of the ideas. The craziest ones are your best bets, especially if you cannot afford it or if you cannot make it work. There is a saying in the creativity research. It says, it is easier to tame a wild tiger than it is to bring out the wild in a pussycat, right? If you have a domestic cat, you cannot make it wild anymore. It's just like, it wouldn't bother, right? But if you have a wild tiger, you're able to tame it. And it's exactly the same with ideas. You come up with a wild idea, you can cut it and snip it and make things work until you are able to use it. And that's how innovation happens, with this front end of ideas applied with the resources, with the minds, with everything, right? But bring something so basic, so mediocre, so shallow, you cannot make something innovative out of it. And you cannot say, well done, everyone, we did an amazing brainstorming session. No, if you want to joke about it, then do that, but it doesn't work that way. So set an idea, quota. Okay, the last third, I think I answered those. Third question, third poll, what are our answers, Hiba?
You have 73% right and 27% wrong.
I am curious to know those 27%, if someone can just hop on, unmute yourself and tell us, why do you think, the third question was, creative ideas come suddenly out of nowhere. Why do you think this is wrong? Can someone tell me?
Okay, I'll go for it. I think it's wrong because I don't think it's nowhere. I think you've always got it lurking somewhere in the back of your thoughts. Sometimes because you look at things in a different manner. So, oops, sorry, my video is off. Sorry about that. You look things at a different manner and you're going, wow, that would be interesting if that box wasn't square, if it was like rounded. Wouldn't that be cool? So it's your adaptability to seeing things or perceiving things in a different manner. So, I always say you adapt or you die. So you might as well adapt. Dying is, I think, really not in dying, not in a physical sense, but dying is in whatever other sense. So I don't think I think it's in the back of your mind somewhere, right, for a lack of a better term.
All right, but what about like new challenge, like someone else like who answered this, a new challenge, like how would the best idea come to you? Like, why did you answer wrong? Like, why doesn't it come from nowhere or not from nowhere, suddenly, just it pops up?
I was another person who put that it was wrong. And I'm following on Diana's answer. I think that the creative idea is something that it has to be cooking in the back of your mind. Many things take years to develop your approach. It's something that maybe you were not even aware of that bothered you, this problem. And then you are slowly making connections to this problem. And you have a series of small epiphanies. You don't have a poof moment.
Mm-hmm.
You're connecting points on a grid, and suddenly when you put them, you're able to put them together in a creative way. That's when a solution appears, but it's not out of nowhere. It's on a huge grid in the back of your mind. And Randah, just to prove that point, I've been taking notes here, and just your few, the 10, 15 minutes we've been talking here, I had several of these epiphanies just as you were speaking, and I've been writing them down about your idea that many is better, to have quantity is best, and the idea that creativity, there's no one right idea, and that's what makes a creative person. And so to me it connected. That's why creative people like me, have difficulty with math, because there's only one right answer in math. So already it just bothers me that there's one answer. But wait a minute, that's just so boring. That's just so limiting. No. So these and Diana's laughing because she's probably the same, right?
You just have to look at it in a mirror and it just becomes another answer. It's okay.
Could be, yeah, because I'm dyslexic too, so that would work.
Dyslexic people are very creative people.
Probably. I can't see things in just one way.
I can tell you from research, right? But they need to believe that they are creative. That to start with,
I mean,
right?
I'm self-diagnosing now. I just always reverse numbers because I can't pay attention long enough to write it down correctly.
That's good, and math doesn't have one answer. That's how they taught us.
That's how they taught me.
That's the wrong way, but it doesn't have one answer or one way to arrive at. So making people prove their answer, going very logical, kills part of their own intuition, which is an important part of their idea. And I know why they need to do it, in order to see how do they think about it, but they put so much emphasis on doing it this one way, then it just kills all other way. I mean,
Yeah.
if they do it as part of learning, these are all the different ways, that's a different story.
And it makes more sense.
Yes, yes, exactly. So going back to this myth, it is a myth. And the answer is creative ideas do not come out suddenly. There is a difference between a tool and a process. The same difference, if I want to create an analogy, the same difference is like reading a sentence and reading a paragraph. If you read a sentence, you understand what is the sentence about, and you could understand the topic, right? And it gets you what you need out of it. Reading a paragraph puts more into context. So when you're working with a tool, with an idea generation tool or a decision-making tool or a planning tool, any kind of tool, it is a one sentence. If you want to put it in a process, then there are more than one step, right? There's more than one step that you need to take in order to arrive there. Maybe we can mute everyone, Diana, so just the background noise. So this is important so that you know where do ideas come from, because there is one step in the creative problem solving method. It's called incubation. And by incubation, it means you let it sit, you sleep on it, you simmer it, right? You take a walk, you go and sleep. Like you do it when you are exhausted. And I'm asking you to do it intentionally. If you want to come up with a really good idea and you looked up all the information you want, you truly understand your challenge, all this preparation is very important, because this is what gives your brain all the input. And then you intentionally say, okay, I will come back to it, you know, at this time. Whatever this time is, whatever time that you have. If you have only an afternoon, you come back to it after 10 minutes. Go for a shower and come back. If you have a week, then come back at it after 3 days or a month or a year. It doesn't matter. But your brain never stops. It never stops thinking about it, because you already put all the input and you've asked it the question. You say, think of the answer, my dear brain, while I go do something else that doesn't require me to think. This is why ideas come to you in your dreams, right? This is why they come to you when you're going out to walk. This is why the ideas come to you in the shower, when you don't have a pen and paper to write them immediately. And if you don't write them immediately, poof, they go. They don't come back to you later. By the way, there is a type of paper that is water resistant. So you can hang it in the shower and then write your ideas with a pencil, because a pencil doesn't, you can write it upside down. It doesn't, and it can write underwater. So this is just a tool, right? This is just a tool. So when I said the three B's of where do ideas come from, these are the bed, okay, the bus, but now we don't have a bus, but when we go on a bus, we simply go out and look at, people, and without thinking, this is when best ideas come. And then the bath, which is the shower, which is the most inconvenient place for you to come up with ideas. And then you decide, oh, ideas come out of nowhere. But they didn't come out of nowhere. There was a process in your head, and your brain is outsmarting you. So take control of that. So when we say, okay, how can I become better at that? How can I produce ideas on demand? Practicing daily, just like meditation, is a key role. You can set, and just like when we set an idea quota for a group challenge, you can set an idea quota for your own, like a daily quota. Every day I'm going to think of 5 ideas, or I'm going to try a different tool, or I'm going to, get inspiration from somewhere else. There are so many ways that you can do it that just, telling it to you here will be a disservice to them. But then just to say, okay, this is my idea quota, this is what I am going to come up with every day, will help your brain get rid of your first ideas fast. Your brain knows that you will no longer accept your first 10 ideas. So when people ask me, look, do you do this on a personal level? Yes, I do this on a personal level, not only with my clients. I do this, for example, when I wanted to come up with an idea or a name for my company, I came up with 200 names. before I decided on one. And I'm so happy with one. And I didn't do them because out of desperation. I did them because I knew the best one will come at the end. Okay? It didn't come at the end, but it was a combination between something at the very beginning and the middle and end, and I was able to create something. So yes, you do that, you do practice, and then you will become better at it. You want to trust the process. You want to say, okay, I trust my mind, I trust my intuition. I'll be able to come up with ideas if I follow through this process correctly, right? So this is you depending on what you know, not just waiting for something to happen out of nowhere. There is one more thing, two more things. Creating the setting. So figuring out what are the different things that you can play with, like what type of music will help you think of ideas. Again, fast music will help you think, will help keep the dopamine faster in your brain. But as soon as you start thinking of the ideas, you shut the music, because that's when you need the space, right? So there are different ways to do that, different ways to push your boundaries, to create analogies, to say, okay, my solution or my idea is like an orange, and then force your brain to find the connection, right? There are so many different ways that will help you go to second level, third level, fourth level. Think of it as a game, right? The more ideas you want to produce, the higher level you want to become in producing those ideas. Okay. I think this is what I wanted to share with you, and I'm aware of the time.
Fantastic.
So just to sum it up, like in conclusion, it's not only the few who are creative, everyone else, and you can claim it back, and so you can bring it back. And then your way at work is not the best way all the time, and it's not the only way. So you can design it and you can redesign it in order for it to become better. And then, yes, you can develop the skill of being a really highly creative person. And I'm curious, and I want to thank Rebecca for sharing with me, some of the ideas that she put together. But maybe, I don't know if you want to say it or to write it in chat to answer, like, in what ways can you start experimenting with ideas today?
In fact, I'm thinking that we might even want to take this forward. It is, I told you, because I did have the luck of knowing both of you prior than maybe all of you knowing both of you together. This is such a perfect combination of both themes, because the meditation with being balanced as much as you can be, and we could actually just create a creative group. There's no one says that we can't, and that is another facet. And to put people in, like I said, you don't have to have your screens on. If you don't want to, we're good with that. And sorry about the slide thing. The slide was supposed to come up here, not behind you. So this is actually my most favorite saying in the world, as you can tell. And so I think that's something we could look at, and we could just do some brainstorming, because it's like the meditation, the creative, I don't want to say brainstorming, but the creative thought process, the creative part of it is, it needs, like, if you wanted to get a six-pack, you got to work at it. And so, and working at it with other people is and it also, in combination with Brenda, it helps you, remind you to let go of your ego, because you're not always right, in the sense that somebody else could be, which we don't say writer, but it would be, someone else could just go, and then you just step back, go, ooh, that's a better thought. Okay. Get rid of the control freak if you can, leave her at home or leave him at home. So I think that's something that, maybe what we could do is have you two gals play together. Like, I'm sorry, I've got you this way diagonally. So I've got Randah in the middle, and I've got Brenda in the bottom corner over there. So maybe you two gals could work in a combination. I'll have you guys hook up. And I really do think it's a really well-balanced team. That's the energy I get. And I would love for all of us, Brian, everyone, Heba, whoever's on there, just to throw, and you don't have to be on your screens. Just if you want to write them down, and then the day you feel like being on your screen, we'll be happy to see you. Okay. So are there any other questions out there? There's somebody else would like to throw in a question. Maybe Heba, have you got a question? No. Oh, sorry, Emma. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Nothing on mine, but I think also I create lots of posters, like me and Diana, we create posters for our social media. So sometimes I get that difficulty trying to get something creative out there. So I totally agree that creativity doesn't just come out of nowhere, or the idea comes out of nowhere. You have to see something and then you get some ideas and then you can do that poster. So I totally understand that that process of how to do it. And I'm a really creative person. I love arts. I love music. I actually like to draw and paint. So, and I hate math. I just wanted to say that I hate math. I hate it so much.
Okay. No mathematicians out there. Go ahead.
Some of the extremely creative people I met are accountants. So don't let accountants. So do not let the industry or the content stop you. That's what I'm saying, the difference between the content and the process. So yes, you don't like math. Exactly. You don't like math, that's totally okay. But others who are mathematicians find ways to be extremely creative in not only in presenting, but also in getting the input inside their brains. So start with a belief that I am creative, and just I'll figure out how creative I am. It's not what level of creativity, it's in what ways am I creative.
Yeah. And then Brenda, you might find that this creative license that we should give ourselves, giving ourselves permission to be creative. Even not doing a really good job at it at the beginning, but giving yourself permission to be creative, you might just have a great laugh in the process, you know, and heal. Okay.
You know, there is the book called Mindfulness for Creativity, which is really funny. When you said let's connect together, I was thinking of that too already. And what it does is, it's because we're always stressed to come up with an idea, the mindfulness of the meditation regulates your emotions, mitigates the stress, enables you to have a more positive outlook, and your ideas bounce off faster because now your flight or fight responses are more in a thoughtful mode instead of crucial stressful mode. So that's a very good idea now for companies. Many companies now, Google, Apple, Microsoft, they have completely input meditation, mindfulness meditation, and nonviolent communication into their businesses. It is a must now. Even schools, meditation is dire now. The world is changing. The world is changing.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I mean, I wish they would kind of, I want to say teach for lack of term. Imagine actually just have a guided meditation for toddlers and kids to go through. Imagine that, because then it'd be the norm, not the extra. Anyway, this is so exciting. As you can see, I think this is going to definitely have a part 2, part 3, sort of like Rocky, you know, like you know, you're probably having so many sessions of this. We'll get some stairs in the background. I would only ask you for the next time, if you can, I would like each one of you, this is what I'm going to put out there, to put a little sign up or something you want to tell us or anything. We're good, like a flash mob, quick questions. Get some questions ready or whatever. We'll give you some tools. And please engage. You did such a great job today. It is hard to engage the first time with total wacky strangers like all of us, thank goodness. But please engage, because that's what we're here for. We got your back. I'm totally excited about this. Thank you very much. I think we're going to call it to a close today. And because some of it's like 3:30 in the morning, you probably should go to sleep, okay? Or what is it, 3:30 in the afternoon, morning, whatever it is, it's like a long time away, okay? And we're looking forward to, if you have, again, to any other speakers or something you want to put out there. But I'll get Brenda and Randah, please, if you guys can get together, and we can maybe pick another date. And I think we should move forward on it. And we can put them out into breakout rooms and do different things and come back together again on it, okay? So thank you. I'd say I'm off for now. Open up your mics and say goodbye.
Thanks,
Brian.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Thank you,
Brenda.
everyone.
Thank you, Brenda. And thank you, Diana. It was fantastic. And Heba for
Thank you,
organizing.
Rebecca.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ciao,
Thank you,
guys.
Dr.
Ciao.
Brenda.
Stay mindful.
Thank you. Yeah, be there. We're here.
Little question,
Take care.
Randa.
Oh, sorry. Go.
Finally, what's the name of your company that you chose?
That's a good. It's called Sajory, Sajory, and it's made of the 2 letters of each of my 3 kids' names, the first 2 letters, and so that's my 4th child. And it did not come like the name did not come that direction in this way. Like I have 200 names. I could easily go back to them, and I use some of those names that I produced for different products and services. So it helped me in the end. It helped me really well to come up with all of this. But yeah, it's so good.
And thanks for the 3 Bs. I do appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for participating. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. And please be safe. Okay. Okay.
Ciao.
You too.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thanks, everyone.